Here in Unit 2, we're going to be discussing participles in terms of conjugation, and we're going to be looking at it with a little bit more depth than we did in Unit 1. We're going to be conjugating participles when there's some sort of exception to the rule of kotev, kotevet, kotevim, and kotevot. For example, there might be a weak letter, a guttural, a silent letter. That's going to change how we conjugate it. So let's look at some examples. First type of shorish that we're going to study is one where I have a guttural in my third slot of my shoresh. Here's my shoresh, right? 3 letters in my shoresh. And I have a guttural right here in my third slot. In Hebrew, we call the guttural a gronit. As you learned last semester, we identify each slot of the shoresh by the letters pei, ayin, and lamed. That spell means verb. And here, because my final slot of my shoresh is the one with the guttural, it's called the lamed gronit. In order to understand what exactly happens when I have a guttural in the final slot of my shoresh, I need to first understand a basic concept called patach Genuva. Despite the implication of the phrase patach Genuva, it is not a robber stealing a patach in the middle of the night. Rather, it's the patach vowel added to the end of a word where it grammatically does not belong. Usually you wouldn't see it, except that there's something in the word that requires it to assist you in pronouncing the word with ease. Looking at the 3 Hebrew words on this page, you see that they all end in a guttural, a chet, an ayin, and a hey. Now, if we pronounce each of these gutturals properly in its entirety, it would actually be very challenging to say these words. So look at the first one, samech, right? Very hard to say. The next one with a true ayin would be yodei, right? Very hard to say the ayin without any vowel assistance. And in the last case, we have this dot in the hey, right, which is called a mapik hey, which brings out the true sound of the hey at the ends of a word. So this word, if I said elo, would be very hard to say also, elo, without any vowel assistance regarding the hey. When I have my 3 deep gutturals ending a word, a chet, an ayin, or a mapik hey, it's easiest to say them after an ah sound, either a patach or a kamatz. Even though the patach does not belong in these words based on the rules of grammar alone, the patach is stolen to help pronounce the guttural. So in each of these cases, you see the deep guttural has a patach stolen. And this is a patach Genuva. Usually, we pronounce the consonant before the vowel. The shin here is pronounced first, and the segel is pronounced second, she. But with a patach Genuva, the vowel is pronounced before the consonant, no, ach. Notice that the patach is sounded before the chet. This is going to be true for all patach Genuva. In fact, really good manuscripts write the patach Genuva between the final 2 letters of the word to show its true pronunciation. So look at the first case, sameh ach, right? Notice that the patach is sounded first before the chet, so it's placed first. It's placed between the mem and the chet to show that you pronounce it first and you pronounce the chet second. Similarly, in the second case, it's shomei ah. Now, today we don't pronounce the true ayin, but we still would see that patach written before the guttural. Based on what we just said, how would you pronounce the following word from tefillah, from davening? Elo what? So just like with the word noach, pronounce the patach before the chet. In the word here, elo, ah, you pronounce the vowel first, the patach first, and the mapike second. With patach genuva, you always pronounce the patach before the vowel. So no ach, elo, ah. Please be careful not to say eloha, because aloha is for Hawaii. So how does the patach genuva apply to participles? So if I have a guttural as the last letter of my shoresh, like in the case here, yod daled ayin, my ayin is my deep guttural. So what's going to happen when I have a word like this? See, I'm trying to follow the formula of shomer, but yodei would be very hard to say with a true ayin. So what would I have to add? I would have to add the patach genuva, and it becomes yodei ah. Similarly, in this case, with the shin lamed chet shoresh, notice that the last letter of my shoresh is a guttural. So how would I pronounce it? Sholei ach, with the patach genuva. The next one, I have my ayin, right? A deep ayin. So how would I pronounce this word? It becomes shomei ah, with my patach. And then the next one, potei ach. And the last one, lokei ach. Notice that in each of these cases, my final letter of my shoresh and the final letter of the word was either a chet or an ayin, two of my three deep gutturals. You don't end a shoresh, a verb, with a mapik. When I have a shoresh that ends in a guttural, let's take the shoresh pei, taf, chet. I'm going to see two changes when I'm conjugating it. First change is when I have masculine singular, it becomes potei ach, right? We talked about that. The second change is going to be when I have feminine singular, yichidza, one female. So just like I have for the word shomeret, a regular participle, I have that tough suffix. With this word, I also have that tough suffix. But I'm not going to put the same nikudot. How am I going to conjugate this with the proper nikudot? Usually have my feminine singular participles ending in my tough, like in the word shomeret. When I have a guttural, I still have that tough over here. But my nikudot are going to change. I'm not going to get the et suffix of shomeret. Rather, I'm going to get an at suffix. Why? Well, the first patach is easy to explain. It comes right before a deep guttural. So you see my patach underneath the mem is the sound that I make immediately before my ayin. So I have an ah sound before the guttural. So that explains the first patach. Similarly, in the case lo kachat, again I have my tough suffix for feminine singular, and I have my patach coming right before my deep guttural, my chetz. Okay, now let's explain why I have the second patach. Just like in the case of shomeret, it's harmonious. There's two even, equal sounds underneath my last two letters of my shoresh. I want to have a harmonious, even sounding vowel underneath the last two letters of my shoresh when I have a guttural. It would be awkward to say loka chet, shoma et, right? Because our natural tendency is to make these two vowels harmonious, even. Okay, so that's why we end up with shoma at, loka chet. We spoke about how to conjugate the lamed gronit, where the final letter of my shoresh is a chet or an ayin, in terms of masculine singular and feminine singular. So let's take the shoresh pei, taf, chet. So we said that the way to conjugate this is to add that patach genuva, potay ach, for masculine singular. And similarly, for feminine singular, what I get is I get that O sound in the middle, as I would expect for any good conjugation of a participle. And before my guttural chet, I get my patach. And to make it harmonious, I have it even with two patachs. Now we're going to look at how to conjugate a guttural when we're dealing with the plural form, when we're dealing with masculine plural and feminine plural. Okay, so let's look over here on the next page. So you'll see that for masculine plural and for feminine plural, there is no change. We don't change the way we conjugate it. My guttural can handle the shva that appears under the second letter of the shoresh, shome'im and shome'ot. We only change the vowel before a deep guttural to a patach when it's a more complex vowel, like a segel or something like that. Now let's see this concept in action in Tanakh. Let's look at Pasuk 9. In Bereshit Yud Yud, Abraham and Sarah are childless. They have 3 visitors, and one visitor tells them, Ashuv elecha. The aleph prefix of ashuv we know means I will. Shuv, like teshuvah, I will return. Elecha, to you. Ka'et chaya means after the time that Sarah has gestated, after the gestational time. V'hinei ben l'Sara ishtacha. And here there will be a son for Sarah, your wife. V'Sara shoma'at patach ha'ohel. Now here's the question. Is this expression, Sarah shoma'at patach ha'ohel, a narrator? Or is it a speaker? On the one hand, at the beginning of the pasuk, I do have a speaker, vayomer, okay? But look where his sentence or his statement ends. Ashuv elecha ke'ichaya v'hinei ben l'Sara ishtacha. That's the end of his statement, of his sentence, right? I'll return to you, and there'll be a son for Sarah. The Sarah shoma patach ha'ohel is the narrator. That's the narrator telling us what was going on while he was speaking. So when I have a narrator narrating, and it's a participle, I have that was ing form. So Sarah shoma, Sarah was listening at the entrance of the tense, patach ha'ohel. Notice how the word shoma is conjugated. So underneath my mem, I have a patach, right, because it precedes a guttural, the ayin, and to make it harmonious, I have the second patach, shoma'at. Okay, so it's nice and harmonious. It's feminine and singular because Sarah is female singular. Let's look at number 10. Vayikrav Yoav Elaha. Yoav came close to her, drew close to her. Vatomer Ha'isha. And the woman said, Ha'ata Yoav. Let's look at this hey of Ha'ata Yoav. Can you say the you, Yoav? Does that make sense? No. When you have a hey that cannot mean the, usually what does it mean? It usually is that hey hashe'ela. Okay? So, are you Yoav? Okay, question mark. Vayomer ani. And he said, I am. Vatomer lo. So she said to him, Shma divrei amatecha. Listen to the words of your maidservant. Vayomer, he said, quote, Shomea anochi. Shomea anochi. So shomea, right? I have a participle, right? Shomea. I'm ending my participle with a patach genuva because I have that ayin, right? That deep guttural in the last lot of my shoresh, and I don't like to end off a word with a deep guttural. So shomei a, patach genuva. So when I have a speaker, vayomer, right? I have a speaker, I have a participle. How do I translate it? Usually it's going to be present tense, occasionally future tense. So he said, I am listening. Number 11. In Malachim, the Navi says, Ko Amar Hashem. So we have a prophecy about the future. right? Kol Hashem describes what Hashem is going to predict something about the future. Kol Hashem Elokei Israel. So said God, God of Israel. Hineni korea et hamamlacha miyad Shlomo. So here korea, I gave you the shoresh kufresh ayin, means to tear, right? Notice that I end off on the guttural of an ayin. So I have to get the patach, Genuva, korea, right? So hineni, hine ani. So if this is a prophecy about the future, I have a speaker, so I know it has to be present or future tense, right? And it's a prophecy about the future. Chances are it's going to be the future. Okay, my korea is going to be describing the future. And when I have hine as an aside before a participle describing the future, it means it's imminent. It's about to happen very soon. So here I will tear very soon. Very soon will tear the kingship from the hand of Shlomo. Okay, so it's korea is going to be future tense, and notice my patach genuva. Now let's look at number 12. In Kohelet ben David Amar, so Kohelet, the son of David, said, Ki einenu yodea ma sheyihiyeh. So, ki, because einenu. So, einenu can either be he or we. I have a speaker, so it's going to be present tense or future tense. We don't or he doesn't. So how can I differentiate between the two? I would look at the next word, right? Yodea. Yodea is my participle. And my participle for he would be conjugated in masculine singular. And for we, it would be conjugated in masculine plural. So which one is Yodea? It's masculine singular. So I'm going to cross that out. Okay, so it's going to be he doesn't know. Ma sheyihiyeh, what will be. Okay, so Yodea. Yodea. Notice I have my patach genuva under my ayin. Right, my ayin gets the patach genuva to help assist the pronunciation. Yodea. Now let's conjugate the participles from English into Hebrew using nikudot, using vowels. Okay, I am taking. So my shoresh of take is lamed kuf chetz, right? It's a participle, so I get my O in the middle. I masculine has no suffix, so it should rhyme with shomer, right? So it becomes lokech. Can I leave it like that? Absolutely not. I need to have my patach genuva, lokeh, ach. She is opening for B. She is opening. My shoresh is pei, taf, chet. It's a participle, so I get my vav in the middle, beged kefet. Usually it would be like shomeret, right? That would be my standard. So I'd get the taf at the end. But do I get the et suffix? No. My chet is a guttural, so I get a patach before my guttural. And then to make it nice and harmonious, I have potachat. See, we are forgetting. So the shoresh of forget I gave you right here is shin chaf chet. It's a participle, so I get my vav in the middle, right? It's we masculine, so it's masculine plural. And can my guttural handle a sounding shva like shomerim, shochachim? Can I handle the sounding shva before it? Yes, it can. So there's no problem writing shochachim. Similarly, in D, they feminine plural, is going to be my ot suffix. Send is shin, lamed, chet. And I'm going to get my osam, my cholam, in the middle of my shoresh, because it's a participle. And just like shomerot, it becomes sholechot. Can my guttural, my chet, handle a sounding shva right before it? Yes, it can. So it becomes sholechot. Let's look at E. You, masculine singular, travel. So we have masculine singular travel. My shoresh for travel is nun samach ayin, right? I have my vav in the middle because I'm dealing with my cholam, because I'm dealing with a participle. I have like rhyming shomer, it becomes no say. I have a guttural, it becomes no say. That patach genuva, because I don't want to end off my word on a deep guttural. Let's look at F. You know. So I'm dealing with feminine plural, so I have my ot suffix. My shoresh for no is yudalid ayin. I get my vav in the middle because I'm dealing with the participle. Yod ot. My guttural does not have any problem with the sounding shva right before it. Let's look at G. You are listening. I have shin mem ayin, feminine singular. So I'm going to get the tough at the end. It's a participle, so I get my cholam in the middle. And can I do like shomeret over here? No, I cannot, because I have a guttural, a deep guttural, a chet or an ayin. So it becomes shoma at, right? My patach right before my guttural, right? And then to make it harmonious, I have shoma at. Okay, let's look at H. He is planting. So I have zayin, resh, ayin. Okay, and here is my participle, so I get my cholam. Masculine singular gets no suffix. So can I do shomer, zorei? No, it becomes zorei, it's one of the malachot on Shabbos, right, on Shabbat. Zorei, They are sending. I have shin, lamed, chet. I get my cholam in the middle because it's a participle. Masculine plural, I have my im suffix. I get my shva, shvana, sholechim, right? Can my chet handle, my guttural handle the shva right before it? It can definitely handle it. So sholechim. Okay, so we just finished the conjugations of participles when I have an ayin or a chet as the last letter of my shoresh. Now I'm ready to complete the first two columns on this participle conjugation chart. So if you look at the first column, chaf, taf, vet, what type of verb is it? It's a regular verb. There's nothing unique about it. And it's conjugated kotev, kotevet, kotevim, and kotevot. Okay, let's now look at shin mem ayin. So notice that I have an ayin as the last letter of my shoresh, right? So what type of verb is this? What type of shoresh is this? This is going to be a lamed gronit, particularly the chet or the ayin as the last letter of the shoresh. And how do I conjugate it? For masculine singular, it's going to be shomei ah. Notice my patach genuva under my ayin. For feminine singular, it's going to be shoma at. Notice my patach under my mem, which comes right before my guttural, the ayin. And notice my patach under the ayin to make it harmonious, two patachs in a row. Let's look at rabim, masculine plural, and rabot, feminine plural. There's going to be no change between what you had for a regular verb and for this final guttural. So it becomes shomeim and shomeot. My ayin, my deep guttural, can handle a sounding shva before it. So now we concluded the conjugation and the translation of a shoresh that ends in a guttural, an ayin, or a chet when I'm dealing with a participle. Next, we're going to look to other weak verb conjugations in participles.